years and still going strong. White whales landed, he's played that song. Breaking the news, Hall of Fame on the line. With Connie's recipes, the stars align. He's the flame that never dies, a barbecue hero with fire in his eyes. Get in the smoke, let the fire take hold. Raise your lighter, stories told. Barbecue thunder, the spotlights glow. Rocking the pit on the barbecue show. From Bomb City Nights to the world stage, the legend of Rempe will never fade. Crank it louder, feel the heat. Barbecue anthems forever sweet. Get in the smoke, yeah, the fire won't die. With central lights cheering, the flames reach the sky. Raise your glasses, let the whole world know we're rocking forever on the barbecue show.
Hi, this is Molly Storm from Stowe, Ohio, and you're listening to Barbecue Central.
Start the game! Let's go!
We'll do it live. Okay. Well, do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
All right, good evening and welcome to the Really Big Barbecue Show, or Barbecue Central Show. This is the show that talks about all things that are important in the world of barbecue and grilling. The show originating from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city, Bomb City, USA, Cleveland, Ohio, the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I am your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evenings live fire fun and frivolity show. If you would like to get in contact with the show this evening, or you would like to follow the show during off-show hours, here's how you do all that.
You can get in touch with the show by sending an email to Greg at BBQCentralShow.com. Follow us on all the social media channels at BBQ Central Show. And be sure to subscribe to the show podcast feed on your favorite podcast platform.
Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening. Coming up in about 12 minutes from now, a quarterly guest, a Barbecue Central Show's guest Hall of Famer, a Barbecue Hall of Famer, a best-selling author, James Beard Award winner. The list goes on. Stephen Raichlen joins us for the first time in 2026, and plenty to talk about. Then we will move to 35 past the first hour, where we will find a visit from the creator of CookoutNews.com, Wes Wright. We missed Wes last month because a month ago I was just getting into Las Vegas, Nevada for the World of Concrete show. But we are back and better than ever here in the Lovers Month of February. So looking forward to chatting with Wes. That'll bring a close to the first hour, and we will move to the second hour. We will find the first quarterly visit from none other than the creator of the Hay Grill Hay brand, Susie and perhaps Todd Bulloch. And if you haven't been following Susie/Todd Bulloch on the social media platforms, they have been doing something pretty crazy, something I didn't think they were even remotely interested in. And I'm leaving it as a tease for now, but I really have quite a slew of questions to talk about as it relates to the thing that they have been covering. And very openly, I might add. So stay tuned for that in the second hour. So Stephen Raichlen, Wes Wright in the first hour, and Susie, potentially Todd Bulloch, in the second hour. Don't forget, you can follow me socially, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, and LinkedIn, all with the handle at BBQ Central Show. We say good evening to those of you watching tonight through one of our video streaming platforms. You can go to Facebook.com/BBQ Central Show, or you can go to Facebook, or you can go to YouTube.com, which is, it's like the first time I've ever done it. You can watch on Facebook.com/BBQ Central Show, or on YouTube, which is YouTube.com/@BBQ Central Show. We also have a new YouTube poll question of the week, and it is a would you rather, like it was last week. Gang, would you rather spend a year living at a nudist colony or within the Amish community? And currently 80% of you are saying you would rather live in the Amish community for a year. Man, that's a tough one for me. Holy moly. Do I want to be, I think... So I'm going to speculate on a lot of different fronts here over the next 30 seconds. I think a lot of you don't want to hang out in a nudist colony because you have some self-shame going around your physical look, and you don't want to be perhaps silently judged by the other nudists. I disagree with that. I think while initially I'm like, well, I would rather be amongst the nudists. But then I think to myself, for a year? And really, when you think about it, when you do your due diligence, as the French say, what you've come to find in the world of nudist colonies is that there is a lackluster amount of hotness going around. And I don't know if I want to be trapped around that for the better part of 12 months. Now, what makes it even harder is this. I live around a huge Amish population. A lot of my territory encompasses Amish settlements, if you will. Well, the food is great, the butter is great, and all this other stuff. Amish is a way of life. I believe there's religion attached to that. You know me and religion, so I think I'm going to go with the nudes. Got to be nudes. By the way, a quick drop back from being in the Amish community and some of you fleeing into the nudist colony. So we'll see how that progresses here over the course of the evening. Before we really get going tonight, I just want to pass along my most sincere condolences to a show favorite, a Barbecue Central Show's guest Hall of Famer. Of course, Steve Ray is his name. I don't know if you follow Steve on social media or not, but Steve's wife passed away last week. The service was actually held earlier today. Steve, if I can speak directly at you, and also if you allow me to speak on behalf of the entire Centralite Collective, I would like to say that we are all thinking about you tonight. Undoubtedly, this will probably be one of the worst days that you have. And we're all here to help, pal, to try and make the next days just a bit more tolerable in whatever way that might look or feel like to you. We love you. We support you, and whatever you need from us, whatever you need from me, Steve, you can just pick up the phone, send an email, send a text, whatever it looks like. I'm here to support, and I don't ever want to know what you're going through, but look, we're all going to face that at some point. undoubtedly, because Father Time is undefeated. But I know what you're going through, and whatever we can do to help, Steve, we're here for you, and again, we love you. Now, let's start here this evening, and I got a ton of reactions to the Mark Anderson Grill Dads segment, and as predicted, most of the reaction was centered around Mark's disbelief that bones don't add flavor to the meat. And of course, years ago, Meat had appeared on this show and talked all about why bones don't do what people think they do. For instance, add flavor to the meat. So let me say this. Just because someone believes in something or doesn't believe in something, that doesn't make it true or false or right or wrong. The only way to get definitive answers is to test scientifically. So when Meathead decided to put the bone thing to the test, his findings weren't his beliefs. They were actual scientific findings. He hired scientists to provide that information. And if those findings had shown that indeed bones did add flavor to the meat, he would have said as much. However, the results were the opposite. Meat had no dog in the fight. He wasn't bought and paid for by the Bones Don't Add Flavor to the Meat Coalition of America. And by the way, that's not a real thing. Don't hold me to that. He was just reporting the scientific findings. And it never fails to amaze me, nor does it never fail to entertain me when people know the science and then summarily shit all over it because they don't believe it. It's doubly entertaining for me when I know it drives Meathead up the wall to hear people not believe scientific findings. So when Mark Anderson mentioned that he didn't believe it the first time, I let it go. But then he came back after it. And I allowed him a chance to recant those statements. Instead, he said this, in case you forgot. When you say the bone brings a lot of flavor, you mean that it protects it from overcooking? Because we all know from Meathead that the bone is actually giving you no flavor because it is calcium.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I agree with that.
Unabashedly disagree. Let me close by saying this. You go ahead and believe anything you want, but science is science. And when you question science, you've become a danger to yourself as well as others, but that's your decision. And to keep my hypocrisy at an all-time high, please, whenever any guest of mine has the opportunity to shit on Meathead's science, please do it. It's absolutely funny. And with that, we have a in the wings Stephen Raichlen, which we'll get to here in just 1 second. But before we do that, let's talk about Primo Grills, scientifically proven to be the best ceramic cooker on the market today. Don't ask me for those findings. I'm just saying that. What do we love about ceramic cookers? Well, we love that they're fuel efficient. We love that they can achieve low and slow temperatures for the traditional barbecue meats. We love that you can get rip-roaring hot for high-temperature grilling of steaks and other thin cuts. But what's missing in the everyday lineup of ceramic cookers? The real ability to do two-zone cooking. Two-zone cooking is important to both professional and backyard cooks alike. It's the best way to manage a fire and cook with confidence. However, getting a two-zone fire in a round ceramic cooker isn't very realistic. Why? Because it's round. Enter Primo and their game-changing oval design. The shape gives you the ability to execute that two-zone setup that you desire. It also gives you the other ceramic grill benefits as well. And when you break it down, there's more than 60 different ways to configure the Primo cooker. So you're only limited by your culinary imagination. Accessories, more than you can count. What do I always say? In the end, the cooker ends up being the least amount of money that you spend. You spend way more money on accessories and accoutrement. Only sold through dealers, so go to primogrill.com and find the dealer locator. Then visit that dealer in person. See what oval might fit you the best. Dare I recommend the XL or the double XL? Oh yeah, baby. Bigger, better. Nobody ever complained about buying a cooker that's too big. However, they have complained about buying under because they decided to cheap out at the last minute. Don't be a cheapskate. Don't get grill buyer's remorse. Nothing worse on the face of the earth. Go to primogrill.com for more information. And why not give them a follow on the Facebook and the Instagrams? That's primogrill.com. We're back with Stephen Raichlen right after this. Stick around. Be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by Fireboard, makers of Fireboard 2, Fireboard Pro, Fireboard Spark, Fireboard Beacon, the wireless Fireboard Pulse. When you use the Fireboard app, you have total access to all devices anywhere in the world. Find out more by visiting fireboard.com or call 816-945-2232. My first guest tonight, an icon in the industry, a host of TV shows, the creator of Barbecue University, an aforementioned James Beard award-winning author, and, of course, a Barbecue Hall of Famer, a Barbecue Central Show's guest Hall of Famer, and checking in for the first time in 2026, a Stephen Raichlen. Hello, Stephen, and Happy New Year. We have a YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody. It is a would you rather. Stephen, would you rather spend a year living at a nudist colony or within the Amish community?
A nudist colony.
All right, nudist colony. 78% are saying they would rather be amongst the Amish. Why be amongst the nudes, Stephen?
Well, I guess I would never tire of the scenery.
Yeah, it's a better option than being locked into the Amish community. That's my answer. So I would say, why not between the two? I mean, that's a tough choice, no doubt about it. Let's go ahead and start here this evening. You know, a little over a week ago, Super Bowl takes place. And within the time leading up to that, there was a very unique cooking contest that you actually took part in. And as we were talking about during the sound check, you know, I'm always a guy that fancies the story behind the story. So as we started seeing this come about, here's the promotion, now the actual event is taking place. Let's back it all the way up. I mean, how does this even get presented to you?
So my buddy David Olson, who runs the website and social media platform Live Fire Republic, put this together. The idea was to pair grill masters with NFL alums and do a friendly barbecue contest. Like any event like this, it evolved as it went along, but it was in San Francisco, which is one of my favorite cities. It was a waterfront venue, and you know I'm a water guy. So, you know, what was there to lose? And it turned out to be really fun.
What did the competition entail? What are you cooking?
So there was a big cooler of animal proteins. I picked tri-tip and chicken wings. And, you know, everybody was kind of free to pick what they wanted. Let's see, what did I do? I made poppers that I stuffed with black-eyed peas, sort of a little southern twist on poppers. I did corn with fish sauce, kind of Southeast Asian. I did I was going to do deviled eggs. You know, I thought that'd be kind of smoked deviled eggs, but I ran out of time. Potatoes. So I buried the potatoes in the embers and then hollowed them out and stuffed them with cheese and bacon and sour cream and all kinds of good stuff like that. So kind of meat and potatoes, but it was really fun. You know, I don't, it's been a while since I've been on the competition circuit, and I just love improvising. Plus, I mean, some of my favorite people were there. I was cooking with David, Leanne Whippen, Mark McMillan, who actually is now a grill master, but was a very much decorated NFL cornerback. Cornerback.
Yep.
So let's see. Matt Horn, Michelin acknowledged pitmaster from Oakland. It was fun.
Something that you're looking to do more of? Will you do more competitions this year?
But I'm not going to do them every week, but when it's with people I like in a city where I want to be, absolutely.
Stephen Raichlen joining us here on the show. One of the other things that has really taken a foothold as far as topics on the show, we might have talked about it on your last appearance, is the increased popularity, visibility, and now what appears to be accessibility of open fire cooking. And what I associate with open fire cooking, or who I associate open fire cooking with, at least in the States here, is Al Fragoni. He's a real champion of open fire cooking. He's bringing contests to Memphis in May this year. There's going to be a whole world championship as far as that's concerned. Memphis in May, not usually known for breaking the ranks of what they have traditionally done. This is a big break in the ranks as far as what they're allowing here. As somebody who has traveled the live fire globe, you've seen open fire cooking. Al's an Argentinian, of course, but I mean, you've seen it all over the place. Are you surprised at the moment that open fire cooking is experiencing right now? And do you see it only burgeoning from here?
I am not surprised. My attitude is, what took you so long? Open fire cooking, that's how we all began 1.8 million years ago with a distant human ancestor called Homo erectus. Wood is a magical fuel because it not only provides heat, but it provides smoke flavor. And if you follow social media, Instagram, it's exploded on Instagram with guys like Derek Wolf and David Olson of Live Fire Republic. We had Al on my Planet Barbecue show, which we taped in San Antonio. He's since become a good friend, and I love it. It's so primal, and it's so visceral. I'm not surprised at all to see it arrive at Memphis in May. I think you're going to see more and more of it. The grilling world is kind of there's a sort of odd and endearing schizophrenia, right? On the one hand, like, our grills are getting more and more technological. You've got grills that talk to your smartphone. You can control everything from your smartphone. And I think that the complement, maybe antidote to that, is live fire cooking, where it's totally unpredictable and totally primal, totally robust.
The last couple of years on our prediction show, so as we're ending a year, we talk about what might be trending for the year that's coming up. Rusty Monson from Salt City Barbecue has maintained that he thinks there will be, for all these technological advances that you mentioned, that there's a growing demand or a growing surge to go back to the most basic ways of cooking. So running an offset barbecue pit, maybe not digging a hole and doing it like the old school ways, but trying to get away from some of these technologies that have been at the forefront here over the last handful of years, especially through the pandemic and so forth. You buy into that at all?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you think about, charcoal sales are increasing, wood sales are increasing. I don't think barbecue ever wants to get too slick and fancy and controlled. I think that the virtue of barbecue is it's very primal live fire quality.
Any TV shows coming up in 2026?
So I'm working on this documentary on the history of barbecue. That's a subject that I've been impassioned by for a long time. Of course, all my existing shows are in circulation. Unfortunately, with the ending of funding for the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and the assault on public media, it's made the PBS world, which is where I exist. Very difficult for funding. I hope at some point that will come back. But at any rate, people are still making great visuals. I think a lot of creativity has moved to Instagram and TikTok, and I've I watch 20 minutes every day. I learn new things. I love how Instagram can take you. When I did my world tour of barbecue, I kind of boarding endless planes and spending a huge amount of money to fly from this place to that place, and now you can sort of experience it on your cell phone via Instagram.
So I was talking with Mark Anderson, half of the Grill Dads. I don't know if you're familiar with their work or not, but they've been on Food Network. They did a Guy Fieri show and got a show on because they wanted this, that, and the other thing. He had mentioned last week that him and his partner had just gotten through selling a TV show to, I forget what, streaming network or whatever. So a lot of new shows seem to be skipping the traditional way, so PBS or a cooking channel of some sort, and they're going on to a streaming network that can also be found on a smart TV. He says they can do it for like way less from a creative standpoint, way less personnel standpoint. They're doing it 3-4 people tops to include them, and they've pitched. I forget what the name everybody talks about. Taste Made is like a really big food streaming network. So Steven would go to Taste Made and go, hey, I got a concept for a show. You sell it. They give you the money to produce it, and you show up 3-4 months later, whatever it is, with 5 shows or 8 shows or whatever the demand is or whatever the agreement is. Is that something that you would take into account or consider?
I keep an open mind to everything. I am amazed, on Instagram. I mean, people are doing now with 1 or 2 people and a cell phone what it took me back in my PBS days to do with a crew of 20 people, food stylists, 3 camera guys, engineers, a sound guy. It is just incredible how much. Everybody has become, everybody can become their own producer and their own star. And I think it's a wonderful movement. I'm thrilled to have had the the 20 years of PBS, but I'm also super excited by what people are doing today.
Last time you were on the show, we briefly teased the 2 books that you were working on. Any updates on either of those?
Well, yeah, I was real busy over the holidays, and actually my deadline was January 5th, and damn if by 11:49 I didn't hit the send button for both books. The first is an autobiography, a memoir. It's called Man on Fire, of life, love, literature, and really good barbecue. And that will be out on October 20th, which actually turns out to be my anniversary. Wow. So that was super fun. And I've just spent the last 6 weeks going through the 70,000 photos that are on my hard drive, plus endless boxes of photos from my childhood and everything to come up with the artwork for that. And I'm really excited about it. It was there are recipes in the book. There's 1 recipe per chapter, so 25 recipes. But it was really about writing more than about a cook. It's not a cookbook per se. The cookbook is a book called Barbecue University, named for and based on my school in Solvang, California. And I guess you could look at it as sort of like what I've learned over 25 years, the 25 dishes that everybody should know how to make, and then the variations, tried and true techniques, new techniques, American barbecue, international barbecue, dishes that my wife and I make on a regular basis. So that'll be fun, and that will be out in May of 2027. Sort of scary to be thinking so far ahead, but that's what you got to do.
If we go back to the memoir book here just for a moment, you gave a really great origin story a couple of years ago when you made it into the Barbecue Central Show's Guest Hall of Fame. That was really fun. Always a unique look at how the stars got to where they are today and what made you what. When you're doing the memoir, is there one thing or two things that stuck out? And we're not trying to give away the book, obviously, but that you were like, hey, this was a pivotal moment in my career, and it's got to go in the book, or something you really hadn't thought about in years or decades, and going through and making this book re-sparked this memory that made you feel great?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, first of all, my career, when I look at it now, looking back, it all totally made sense. But when I started out, I got a degree in French literature. I mean, I was a medievalist. At one point, I was offered 2 fellowships after college. And one was a Fulbright to study paleography, which is the science of ancient scripts. And I would have wound up in a dusty library in Bordeaux. And the other was a Watson Foundation Fellowship to study medieval cooking in Europe. Well, I mean, you can imagine which one I took of those 2 fellowships. But that led me to Paris, and Paris led me to modern French cuisine. And the woman who ran the school, who became a mentor and a friend, said to me one day, Stephen, you'll never make a living writing cookbooks. Well, of course, what does somebody do? What do you do when somebody tells you you can't do something? I was determined to make a living writing cookbooks. It took me 6 cookbooks to actually earn a profit. But the other thing is kind of the people that help you and shape you along the way. Alan Willen was one. Meeting Peter Workman, my visionary publisher, was another. And I'll never forget, I had dinner with Peter, my wife and my editor and Peter. And I said, I really want to do a TV show. And he said, well, I'll put in $100,000. And that was like, oh my God. I mean, first of all, that was more money than I could ever imagine at that time in my life. And that's how my TV show began. So, I'd say a lot of it was luck, happenstance, right place at the right time. But also a lot of it incredibly hard work. And I think that that's true probably for anybody who's achieved a modicum of success. I mean, I know with your show, you make it look effortless, but I know how much preparation goes into it.
When you, so they always say, the harder I work, the luckier I get.
Yeah, well, that's a great line.
You said on the show many times, you're not very comfortable at all in front of the TV camera. And then here you are talking about, with Peter Workman, I should get on the TV, and he's quick to pony up $100K to at least get that ball rolling. Did you realize you were going to have to be uncomfortable in order to get to the success levels you were hoping for?
I had no idea how hard TV was going to be. I probably, if I had known what it was going to be like the first year, I never would have done it. But I grew up on Julia Child, and that was, that's kind of what you did if you wanted to expand your empire from book writing. I mean, first of all, I started off with magazine and newspaper writing. Well, that's a complete dead end financially, right? Because you write a story, it comes out, it's gone, and that's that. And then book writing, at least you've created a product that, if you're lucky, will sell and continue to sell and maybe get translated. So that's kind of a better economic model. But obviously, TV gives you a platform to build your empire, and that was great for me. I do tell the story of my first my first TV experience. I was invited on Good Morning America for 3 days in a row, and I was so ignorant and so stupid. I said, well, how much are you going to pay me? Dead silence on the other end of the phone. And then finally, the producer was taken aback because nobody pays you for a morning TV appearance.
Of course.
You pay them.
Yeah.
And he said $1,000. And I said, is that per day? More dead silence.
Wow.
Anyway, so I may be the only person that ever got paid to appear on Good Morning America. But
I wonder if he's like chasing around in the background, like, oh, he's asking for money. Is there a figure that we should get? I mean, were you, no disrespect asking the question, but like, were you a big deal back then?
No.
Where they
no.
thought, hey, this guy should be chomping at the bit to get on television?
Probably the latter. Yeah. I had the kind of little known fact about Stephen Raichlen way before barbecue. I wrote a series of books called High Flavor, Low Fat, and I developed a cholesterol problem after 10 years of restaurant reviewing. And back then there's no Lipitor or, Torvastatin. So I came up with this method of cooking that emphasized flavor through spices and seasonings and cut the fat. And I actually brought my cholesterol levels down. So the first book that I came out with, High Flavor, Low Fat, won a James Beard Award. I guess it came to the attention of Good Morning America. They invited me on. I was terrible the first day, somewhat less terrible the second day, and then thanks to some advice my wife gave me, I ended on a good note. I think the producer didn't lose his job for offering me all that money.
What's the advice that your wife gave you?
She said, it's not about the food, dummy. It's about the connection. Just get out there and have fun. Nobody really cares, cares what happens to your chicken breast. They want to see you laugh with the host. So I came out the third day. The host was a woman named Joan London at the time. Yeah. I put my arm on her shoulder. We laughed. I told her my story about my cholesterol problem. I don't even know if I cooked that third segment, but they had the food ready already. So, I didn't really want to. And it was about the connection. And that's really, if you watch TV carefully, even cooking shows, people who are really good at it and memorable about it connect with the host.
Stephen Raichlen is the best, and you can find him over at barbecuebible.com. Stephen, always appreciate the time, and we will see you in 3 months.
I can't wait. Thanks.
You got it. Legend right there, Stephen Raichlen, of course, and love the anecdote about first time on television. Wives are funny like that. They have a unique ability to sniff out what's good and what's bad, and they'll tell you where to make those corrections. All right, Wes Wright is in the green room, ready to go after me giving him the month off because I was not here last month. Wes was ready to go, by the way. We'll get into that. Before we talk to Wes, let's talk about Big Papa Smokers. That's right, competition season's heating up. I don't know if you knew it or not, but there was a extra run on Barbecue World Cup video promos today, in case you don't get on social media. And now it's time to stock up with Big Papa Smokers, your source for championship barbecue flavor. Load up on the award-winning Sweet Money and the competition-proven competition brisket and steak rub before the pits fire up and the smoke rolls in. Whether you're chasing trophies or perfecting your backyard game, Big Papa's got the flavor that wins. Shop now at this website, bigpapasmokers.com. Then, as you're getting ready to check out, use promo code REMPE26, that's REMPE26 at checkout for free shipping. Exclusions apply. Big Papa Smokers, real barbecue, real results. We're back with Wes Wright right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
All right, welcome back. We thank Stephen Raichlen for joining us last segment. And this portion of the show being brought to you by Pit Barrel Cooker, the most unbelievable outdoor cooking device on the planet. It's currently available in 3 sizes with a host of accessories. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner or a professional. It's a cooker you want to add to the arsenal. Visit pitbarrelcooker.com and tell them the Barbecue Central Show sent you. My next guest runs cookoutnews.com, and he is a Barbecue Central Show's guest Hall of Famer. We welcome back Wes Wright to the show. Wes, welcome back, and give you the first month off in 2026, but now it is a command of 11 months with no days off going forward. So we have a YouTube poll question of the week. It is a would you rather. Wes, would you rather spend a year living at a nudist colony or within the Amish community?
I'm going to go Amish.
Amish, all right. And 64% of the YouTube voting public agreeing with Wes Wright. They would rather be in the Amish community than live in a nudist colony. However, Stephen Raichlen and myself would rather live in a nudist colony than be a part of the Amish community. So the Amish community seems to run out a little bit further, but then as the segment wears back, we get a little closer to 50-50, but 64% of the YouTube voting public agreeing with Wes on this one at the moment. Bunch of different news articles and items and tidbits that we'd love to cover, not the least of which is Middleby. So I don't know if a lot of people understand who Middleby is, but if you know Charbroil and Kamado Joe and a bunch of other grilling brands, Middleby is the parent company or the owner of all that stuff. And at the beginning of the month, you wrote an article on their selling of their grill brands. Surprised?
I'm not. I think it's been in the works for a while. They bought they bought Char Griller, they bought Masterbuilt, they bought Kamado Joe at the end of 2021 when things were sky high, paid a premium for them. And then, obviously the market crashed after that. And we got to a low there. And so their core business is commercial products like ovens you see at like a Chili's, like that's their bread and butter, huge margin profile. So the grill brands which fit under their residential platform that also includes like Lynx and Evo and some other notable names, they never saw that same margin profile that the rest of their business saw. So what that means for their stock price is it was getting undervalued. So they, their only opportunity was really to kind of get rid of it, which they did and they sold 51% of it and they're controlling interest to investment firm. But I also don't think it's the last stop for the grill brands. It's anything I see by like under that new company, it's all about their other residential brands and not necessarily their outdoor brands. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them sold again, to be honest.
Who would be in line to buy?
I think you'd have to piece them out. I think you'd have to break up the brands and sell them. They might have some value individually to companies, and you might be able to get more money for them that way.
Here we go. Wes Wright, Greg Rempe team up to become new owners of Evo. What do we think? I got $30 in my pocket burning a hole.
Yeah, I can match that 30. We'll see if they'll take it.
What can we buy Evo for if we piece it out?
I bet it'd go pretty cheap. I mean, they sold, I'm trying to remember what they sold the whole portfolio for, but it was a far cry from what they paid for. But I bet you're, tens of millions of dollars, if that, maybe even in the single digit millions. I bet you could get that brand for.
That seems like a lot to me.
I mean, if you get all the,
does it come with the manufacturing
and
plant and all that shit, or is it just the brand?
It's probably the brand and some access to manufacturing too.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's not such a great idea. But so when Middleby bought, you talk about the time that they bought and everything was overvalued, blah blah blah, and then it crashes. Do you think they would have been open to buying before or after the pandemic, or this was a bad decision where they thought they were going to be able to slap huge margin in these things and the way it was carrying was going to be something that was going to be ongoing?
Yeah, I don't know that they would have bought them ever if it wasn't trending that way through COVID. I think if it kept trending that way and everybody's cooking outside all the time, they'd still be owners of them. But their commercial brands carry like 25% margin or something like that, which that's really hard to get out of a grill company. So in an alternate universe, I don't think they ever buy them, or in a different one where that growth just kept going, I think they still own them too. So
this continues to amaze me. Like, we should do a deep dive, go back to the COVID days and out all of the dopes who sat in really high positions of power at companies and bet that COVID years were going to be the new norm. Like, I never thought that for a second. I talked to other business owners in the space who said, hey, we're throwing this year away. We're not going to project off of this. And then they did it again the following year to try and bring some type of levity or realism to what their forecasts really needed to be. And yet, company after company, really no-name brands, really smart guys, I guess, had the bet that this was going to be the new norm. We should do that, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of them. Not only the people that bought really expensive companies that went out of business, but investors that invested in them. Like a bunch of companies IPO'd. There was some private investments happening of, brands that right at that peak, and that's just going to keep going. I mean, that's the time to sell, though. If you're selling a business, wait till it's on the upswing. Let me tell you.
Oklahoma Joe's Bronco drum, not something that I haven't ever heard of. I've seen a couple people use them. You have one. You did a review on it. What do you like?
Yeah, so their previous Bronco, I've read a lot about it and people liked it, and so they sent me their new version, which is a little smaller, and notably it has like an access door where the charcoal basket like slides out so you can refill it. I really have fun cooking on it, though. I've been cooking on it for, I don't know, 4 or 5 months now. And I like the versatility of it. You can obviously smoke on it on cooking grates. You can hang meat, or there's a diffuser plate in the middle that you can put the charcoal higher, and you can use it like a straight grill. So and it works really well. It holds temperature strong. You can just dial it in. They have an intake and exhaust damper on it. You can just dial it in and it'll just keep going. I really like cooking on it.
How do you stack it up against a ceramic cooker?
I think, I don't think it holds temperature quite as well, or as cost effective with charcoal. It probably burns it faster than a ceramic cooker, but it's also significantly cheaper. I want to say it retails for $500 compared to 1,000 plus. So it's a trade-off on that front. But and also, like, if you want to cook a lot of food, it's hard to beat. I like ribs that are cooked kind of fast, so like hanging meat on that, you can cook a lot at once.
Do you think a 5-year lifespan on something like that if you're cooking on it, let's say 3-4 days a week?
Yeah, I'd say so. It's made from, powder coated steel. I store mine in the garage. I think that's key where you store it. But yeah, I'd say it probably lasts about that long.
Let's move on to Traeger grills, our favorite subject. And we knew about the letter that New York Stock Exchange sent out a handful of months ago saying, hey, you're under $1. We got to get right with this. And January sees the stock go to plus $1. But since February 5th, I don't know if you've been tracking it, it has tanked back under $1. What happens next?
Yeah, when it went above $1, and to get back in like compliance, you have to be 30 days above $1 and close at $1 at the last day of the month or something like that. And so they got a notice that they were in compliance again. But from before, when they were originally being noted that they were out of compliance, they were going to have a shareholder vote to do what's called a reverse stock merger, so that what that is it takes, let's say you have 10 shares, you combine them all from 10 to 1, and that increases the per share price, because there's less of them essentially. So they're still going to go ahead with that to get the price back up higher, because they say they still want to stay listed.
If they execute this, just speculatory, what do you see the share going up to? If it's at 89 cents or whatever the hell it's at now, like, does it go to $5? Does it go to $10?
Oh, it should go way. They'll probably do like I forget what they said they're considering, but they usually do like 20 to 1 to 40 to 1. So it should go, that much higher, 20 times higher, so they're 40 times higher.
40 times. So it could go to $40 a share.
Yeah. If every 40 shares you have, you now have 1 share, the price, kind of matches that.
So if I had, so this isn't like me getting rich. If I bought 1,000 shares at 87 cents today, I'm not going to have $1 billion when I cash out when they do the reverse. Then I'll have half that. You'll have a tenth of that or whatever.
Yeah, you'll have 40 times less shares, and the price will be 40 times higher. So there's no money making thing there. All it is just it's a requirement of the stock exchange to stay listed. So that's what they do to make it work.
What do you see happening at Traeger over the first half of the year, generally?
I think they're going to release a cheaper grill that is connected. And then my kind of maybe a long shot. I don't know. I think they're going to come out with a new timber line, if probably this spring, but if not this one, next one for sure.
Let's move on to Kingsford, our favorite charcoal brand. You mentioned from an article earlier this month that charcoal titan Kingsford is going to be bringing innovation this summer. What does innovation in charcoal look like?
Yeah, there's not a ton you can do with charcoal, but it's something like they'll make larger briquettes, or they came out. Do you remember those flavored briquettes they came out with?
Yes, trash.
Or or they'll they've had different one, like they have low and slow briquettes that probably have a different mixture, or like high heat ones, and they they used to sell. I want to say it's Sam's.
They did a competition brand.
Competition. That's yeah. So my guess is something like that they'll be coming out with, a new kind of product to build up interest.
This is why brands like Kingsford never sponsor me, because we mentioned something, I'm like, oh yeah, that's trash. Okay, so I should be a little bit more sponsor friendly. Let's talk about Blackstone for a second. I was going to ask you last month. I forgot I was going to Las Vegas until you reminded me, just before showtime that Tuesday. And then I was like, oh, hey, I'm not in town. This has been an embedded correspondence segment. Some of the other people that are kind of industry coverers I've asked as well would love your take on it. Are you surprised to see Blackstone bringing an open fire Santa Maria style cooker to market, or do you think this is right where the wheelhouse is for them these days?
Yeah, I was completely surprised. It was not on my radar at all that they'd make this. I mean, they've obviously started out with griddles and some gas grills, and then they moved on to pellet grills. But an open fire cooker is pretty far away from that. They sent me one. I have to put it together. I have it in my garage, but I'm interested to try it out. I think it'll be like a niche product. But I think it's doing well. I've had multiple people say like, hey, where do I get one? They're sold out everywhere. I can't find it. So, but no, completely unexpected. I didn't think Blackstone would do that.
Do you think the interest is because it was such a departure from what they would normally do? People got to see what it's all about. And what's the price point on these?
I want to say it's $500 or it's around there, 4 or 5, which is pretty inexpensive for a Santa Maria style grill. I think the interest is that they built up such a big name with Blackstone, and they're also part of Weber now too. And that I bet you there's a lot of people that aren't even really familiar with Santa Maria style grills that have seen that, or also that they're harder to get mass market. It's not like, one of the smaller grill brands that people might not know, or, less, more expensive to get. So I think that's the hype around it right there.
Are you really excited to be burning all that wood to get the to get the coals and then spread them out and cook that way? Is that something that excites you?
I think it's fun. I like the experience of doing that.
Fun like twice, or fun like forever?
I mean, we'll see. I don't know how long I do it, but you can also, if you want to be lazy, you just throw a bed of charcoal underneath, and you're doing the same
but then
thing.
I mean, why not get a $130 Weber kettle?
Yeah, I mean that's true, but or if you want to show off to your friends and show how you master open fire cooking, like.
So this is what I'm saying. I said it to Al Fragoni. So I think he's really an inspiration into this kind of style of cooking that we're seeing really gain some traction here as we're getting into 2020. I mean, Al's been doing it forever. It's part of the Argentinian culture, blah, blah, blah. But here in the States, you've seen it around. Santa Maria style grill has been part and parcel of doing tri-tip out in California, of course. But as we're starting to see this grill make the way through the rest of the country and gain popularity now here, as I mentioned, Stephen Raichlen, you're going to see a open fire world championship at this year's Memphis in May, which has never been seen before. I think a lot of people like to see experts cook like that. I don't think a lot of people actually want to cook like that in their backyard. And I guess this is where the rubber meets the road on if people are actually going to buy into it.
Yeah, I think it's a lot like an offset cooker though too, right? You get into smoking and grilling, and then you want something a little more challenge, a little more craft to it. So I think other grills are a gateway to open fire cooking, and it should, and it's easier than like cooking in like a fire pit, too. So that helps. But I mean, is there going to be a giant trend towards Santa Maria cooking? I doubt it, but I think it's fun and make some delicious food on it.
Stories that you're working on that we're going to be looking for the next 30 days?
I'll probably have a couple interview pieces coming up. And then Ghazni today released a new pizza oven that's out. I'm trying to think what else I have coming up. But yeah, that's mainly what I can think of right now.
You tracking any of the Barbecue World Cup?
Not too much of it. I hear about it here and there, but not too much about it.
Going to the HPB Expo?
That'll be a last minute decision. I have a couple things that conflict with it.
It's in New Orleans. That can't be a last minute decision. You're going to hop a bird and go to New Orleans from Detroit?
Yeah. It's an easy flight.
No, it's not. You get direct flight out of Detroit to New Orleans?
Yeah, I get Detroit. As we've discussed, Detroit's a fantastic airport and a Delta hub, so I can go anywhere.
Yeah. All right. Well, the opposite in Cleveland. So the only place I can fly direct to through United is Houston or Dallas, and I think I can get to Tampa direct through United. Southwest they do have a direct one flight a day direct to Las Vegas and then back. By the way, what I've come to find out as far as world travel for me, flying from Cleveland to Las Vegas is about all I can handle in a plane. So that means like getting to San Diego is that another 45 minutes in length or another hour maybe? I mean,
yeah.
Holy moly. I think the live visit of me going out to Sam the Cooking Guy is in jeopardy just because I'm old and I don't know if I can sit that long anymore. But direct, holy crap, it was like, this is enough. I mean, not first class, not private jet. I mean, that's a whole different lifestyle. But just like a regular passenger, I think 4.5 hours is about enough for me.
Yeah, I echo that. And for these events that happen in Vegas, I run into, the older I get, the harder I deal with time changes. So it'll be dinner time, and I'm like falling asleep, and I can't seem to handle that. So.
Yeah, I lived on East Coast time when I was there, so I was calling it a night, 9 o'clock local time. Because I was like, oh, my God, it's like 12 o'clock. I got to go to bed. So whatever. Yeah. This is Wes Wright. You can find him over at cookoutnews.com. Wes, appreciate the time and the catch-up, and we'll see you back in March.
All right. Thanks, Craig.
Wes Wright. Again, cookoutnews.com, the website. You can follow him socially at Cookout News across the various social platforms. We will wrap the first hour when we come back, so you stick around, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
And we thank Wes Wright for joining us last segment. Again, the website cookoutnews.com or at Cookout News across social media platforms. If you are not currently following Wes, you should. And by the way, pay the $8 or $100 a year or whatever it is to get that access to the business content on his website. Totally worth it if you love following all that stuff. Nobody covering the industry better than a Wes Wright is covering the industry. Brian Koutrakis. Sorry, Brian. What is your favorite meat to cook? I don't know if you're asking Wes or me. Many answers to that question, Brian. Barbecue-wise, I love to cook ribs. They're my favorite. I would love to say I cook brisket, but I don't cook brisket at all very much. But I love ribs. I love cooking ribs. I'm really good at it. I love eating my ribs. Grilling-wise, it's a toss-up between what? Grilled chicken thighs and any kind of grilled steak. I mean, I love steak. In fact, I was just talking to my wife tonight. I said, what are we doing Friday night? Don't know. Well, guess what? We had 2 rib cap steaks left over that are in the vacuum seal packaging in the freezer. We're going to be taking out tomorrow, let them defrost. And we're going to be having the prime grade rib cap steaks that you get from Costco. These were the last 2. So we had 4, froze 2 because a couple people dropped out. So these are going to be great to seal. We can have them again. It'll be like a whole treat. We don't actually have to go out and buy them. So those are my quick answers to those. Woody Woodrow is asking, as we talk about the science back from the opening take, who's the scientist and how does that person prove it? Very concerning as to how science changes and evolves based upon the scientists. Well, I don't know if it's based on the scientists or science just evolves and new answers are found, right? But hey, if you don't trust science, go ahead. Don't trust science. That is your right. All right, we are pointing to the second hour. We'll give you a poll question update. And there has been some rapid changes since we've been talking to Wes Wright that I'll catch you up on. Also, we have a interview with Susie Bulloch and Todd Bulloch from Hey Grill Hey. So stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
This is Terry Howe from the Talkback Fans Podcast, and you're listening to the Barbecue Central Show with the incomparable host, Greg Rempe.
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me! Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle. Charbono! It's all about the charbono, dude.
Succulent fish. What?
He ate 54 wieners.
Oh, listen, Libertius, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
And we are into the second hour. Welcome back. This is the Barbecue Central Show, where we talk about the most important barbecue and grilling items of the day. The show originating from
Palm City, USA, Cleveland.
Still to come on this show this evening, Susie and maybe Todd Bulloch from Hey Grill Hey. HeyGrillHey.com is the website if you want to do an advanced scout on them if you're not familiar. We say good evening to those of you watching this show tonight through one of our streaming platforms of video. Go to Facebook.com/BBQ Central Show, or you can watch over on YouTube, which is YouTube.com/@BBQ Central Show. We have a new YouTube poll question of the week, and it is a would you rather YouTube poll question of the week. We're asking everybody, including all guests, would you rather spend a year living at a nudist colony or within the Amish community? And currently 59% of you are saying you would rather live in the Amish community. Remember, not so long ago, 76% of you were saying that you would rather live in the Amish community, but as the votes continue to pour in over the 120-minute Barbecue Central show, It is clawing closer and closer back to 50-50, and we'll see how it goes with Susie and Todd Bulloch here in just a few moments. Coming up on the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less, we are bringing you episode 421, taking you back to February 17th of 2009. The show was a mere infant back then. I mean, technically it was 3 years old, but from a live perspective, because as I had mentioned last week, February 7th of 2008 is the first time the show launched live across the interwebs, courtesy of LA Talk Radio. And here, going back to February 17th of 2009, so the show was just a shade over a year old at that point, the live show was. And this week featuring another barbecue legend, the late, the great, the winning Robert McGee of Munchin' Hogs at the Hilton. Easily one of the most respected, one of the most winningest teams in competition history, a team that was a building block in the eventual rise in popularity of competition barbecue as a sport. Robert was originally an executive chef at the Hilton, Kansas City. Becomes a successful competition cook, eventually opens a staple barbecue restaurant in Kansas City. I don't know if you've ever heard of Q39. If you've heard of it, you know the quality of barbecue that is being served out of there. Robert McGee is the guy that founded and opened Q39. He's that guy. Robert passed away in December of 2021. He did appear on the show a number of times, and in this interview, we talk about how Munchin' Hogs at the Hilton won the 2008 Team of the Year honors. Also, fun fact, Robert is one of the very few people I have actually met in person. He was in Canton, Ohio for a Sam's Club local qualifier, if you remember that thing back in the day. And I drove down to see the event. I was invited down by the event organizer at the time, and Michael McDearman was running the grilling demo before he ended up taking over for the director of the previous director, not to get too convoluted. And Robert McGee just happened to be one of the folks that was trying to qualify out of that local qualifier in Canton, Ohio. Guy from Kansas City drove all the way up to Canton, Ohio to try and qualify out of that local. So I drove down to see it, met Robert McGee. Robert McGee was the first human man or woman ever to give me sliced money muscle, and to say it was life-changing would be perhaps the understatement of 2026. I put that puck of pork in my mouth, and my head exploded. It was amazing. It was succulent. It was tasty. It was all of the adjectives that are complimentary. And Robert was a great guy, and he was happy to pour drinks, and he was happy to send me home with a, dare I say, metric fuck ton of barbecue that he did not turn in. Everything was great about Robert. Anyway, if you're not familiar with him, if you're looking for a great intro segment to Robert McGee, then be sure to catch it this coming Friday. And according to John, as I was listening to the show prior to posting, this whole show, February 17th of 2009, the whole show, which, by the way, was only an hour back then, worthy of multi-best moments show. So I don't know if he's going to be carrying that out. He does tease it a little bit in the talk out. But be prepared for multiple shows coming out of the February 17th, 2009 original show. And again, be sure to check it out this coming Friday. Robert McGee, Munchin' Hogs at the Hilton. Don't forget, you can subscribe to the show by visiting thebbqcentralshow.com/subscribe. Also, don't forget, if you want to hear a guest or segment again that you feel has been lost in now the extensive archives of the show, email John, let him know what you would like to hear, or set some kind of outline or boundary that you would like him to meet. and he'll do his best to meet your expectation. John's contact info, by the way, is John, Jon, at thebbqcentralshow.com. That's Jon at thebbqcentralshow.com. And as I had mentioned, he will do his best to meet your expectation. All right, let's go ahead and get ready for a Susie and Todd Bulloch segment. Looking forward to that. Looking in the box, I see both of them there, unless Todd just decided to get the hell out. We'll see. Never know. Caught up with that. I knew somebody was going to mention it. Jason Pettis, 4691. The poll doesn't specify whether or not participation is required with the naked people. Yes, of course. That's why it's a question. You're going to have to be naked or you're going to have to be Amish for a year, Jason. Hey, step into the world of McAuliffe cigars, where each blend is a chapter and a grand tale of craftsmanship and passion. The portfolio, a symphony of flavors. Each note carefully composed to create an unforgettable Nicaraguan smoking experience. They do have the color line, and in just a few weeks' time, I believe it is the first Tuesday in March, Amanda McAuliffe makes her triumphant return as we talk about the introduction of the McAuliffe White. Looking forward to that. In the meantime, go to McAuliffeCigars.com and use the locator to find a retailer nearest you. And McAuliffe is spelled MICALLEF, McAuliffeCigars.com. And we're back with Susie and Todd Bulloch right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
And we welcome you back. My first guests tonight are leading off the second hour. Creator of the Hay Grill, Hay Brands. Of course, we are talking about Susie, and there he is, Todd Bulloch from Hay Grill Hay. There they are. Happy to have you here, the first visit in 2026. Before we get going, gang, we have a Would You Rather YouTube poll question of the week, and we're asking everybody, including all guests. Susie, let's start with you. Would you rather spend a year living at a nudist colony or within the Amish community?
What do you think I would say?
Nudist.
Nudity, 100%. Yes.
Wow. All right, Todd.
There's something so honest about it.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
You can bear, well, I mean, you're bearing everything, but you can hide nothing. Todd, would you rather be in a nudist colony for a year or an Amish community for a year?
What do you think I would say?
Amish, 100%.
Yes. All right. Now, Todd, since Susie's answering for you, now you answer this question. If you're picking the Amish community, why not the naked community?
Back in January of 2025, I was in the great country of China, and my friend that we were with took us to a spa. And I kind of had an inkling that this was going to happen, but we split off, girls and boys, and then I got to the spa, and everybody was there. Everyone was naked.
I mean, that's a spa or a prereq, I think, isn't it?
I mean, tell me a spa in America where there's nudity, because you won't find it, I don't think.
They do exist.
I think that's every spa. At some point, you're nude, right? I mean, now you might slip under a towel, but there's a lot of nude going on in the spa.
Yeah, the only people wearing a towel around were me and the other Americans.
Yeah.
The Chinese dudes were just walking around like just hands on their hips, like having conversations with me, and I don't love nudity.
It's kind of like the locker room at the YMCA at 5 a.m. It's all the 70-year-old guys that have been up for 2 hours, They don't want to read the paper at home. They want to be naked. So they go to the locker room, pull out the paper, have a cup of coffee, naked. They're not going to go work out. They're not going to chat it up with anybody else at the front desk. They just go to the locker room to be naked. It's bizarre.
Yeah, it's not my thing.
Susie, why the nudist colony? I'm a little shocked, if I'm being honest.
I just think there's something so authentic about all of it. Like I said, there's nowhere to hide. You are who you are, you know?
You got a cat?
We lost sound.
Oh, no.
I can't hear him at all.
I wonder if they can hear us. Greg Rempe's beautiful bald head shines bright.
He's gone. Do we need to leave? Are we carrying the show right now?
I don't know.
Hello, followers of the Barbecue Central show. We are doing it live. And we are now in charge of the Barbecue Central show.
I think it's our show now.
I think this is our show now, actually. This is going to be a shining moment in Barbecue Central show history. I don't know if Greg Rempe has ever had a night off. This is a heavy burden to bear.
It is. It better not end up with us because it would die a fast, quick death.
Yeah. Yep.
We could not carry this burden.
Listen, I think we could carry this. Okay. While we're waiting for Greg Rempe, we don't even know if we're still being broadcast currently. We have a red square around us. But just in case, we're going to give the Barbecue Central show people something to be excited about. Todd's going to look up and see if this is still being broadcast. But if not, you guys are... Oh, turn the volume down, Todd.
Oh, sorry.
It says we'll be back. Oh, our audio is still on.
Working. Oh, this is crazy.
Maybe we should mute ourselves.
This is a lot of power.
Oh, we have questions. If you're on Facebook, ask us a question. What is your favorite meat to
he's
cook?
Back. I can't hear you.
Oh, no.
No, I can't hear you.
Can you hear us? He can't hear us either. Well, the good news is...
No, I can't hear you. Oh, but the people...
The people can hear us.
The people can hear us.
He can't hear us either. Well, the good news is... Leave and come back in. We're on it, Greg.
That's not how you leave. Oh.
Todd's on it, Greg.
Hit the hang up button. I can't hear you. What do we do?
Nope. I can read your lips, kind of. We could have a whole conversation where we're just guessing what you're asking us.
But the show can hear us. Everyone else can hear us, but no one can hear you. I feel like I hold so much power right now, and I don't know what to do with it.
I don't either, but I do feel like, yeah, Brian can hear Susie and Todd. I told you, Todd, we have to carry this show now. Oh, the video is gone.
That's all right, but listen, it's still us. Yeah, because people are still listening. This is great.
It's just Brian. Hi, Brian.
Oh my gosh. I'm nervous. I'm shaking.
I don't know where else we could go with this. We already talked about nudity. Mute, unmute, settings. We actually have no control over what's happening right now because this is Greg's show. He's in charge.
I blame the cat. He's always got a cat creeping around. That cat unplugged something.
Should we also leave and come back in?